Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. So today we're talking about is retirement accounts, more specifically a Roth IRA retirement account. And we're going to talk about just why I added to it at this particular time and the particular digital assets that I added in going forward. So we're just going to jump right in. So let's get into it. So first of all, I'm trying a new setting on a microphone and actually a new output for the camera. So I just need a couple of a little bit of feedback before we start. First of all, how does the audio sound? Because if I get a little bit of an echo or it's not really decent, then I'm going to hear about that in the comment section. So it's kind of a waste of a video if I've got a lot of problems as far as like the audio part goes. So if you would be so kind, let me know in the comment section just how everything sounds. Because on these new areas that I'm doing, because these different parts that I live in, it's important to kind of get the right things. So let's see. It's decent. It's totally fine. No echo. That's the big thing. All right. So I'm sure people who are listening with headphones or with their earbuds or whatever else, or AirPods, but we'll see how it goes from there. So today we're taking a look at is just what and why we did it at this time. And when I take a look at it, I was actually kind of waiting for this time to come about. I know we had reached 108,000. We were bouncing around 106. I got to tell you, I didn't think we were going to go, this low this quickly, but we've been kind of range bound. And as a reminder, like over the last 30 days or so, and why I'm looking at these 30 days is because when you're funding these retirement accounts, it has to be year by year. And you can actually fund your retirement account for last year up to, I believe it's April 14th or April 15th. I would get those days confused because those are the times for the taxes to go through in the United States. But you can actually contribute to your retirement account in 2025 or 2024. The problem with that is, and there's a couple of different reasons, but we'll go over that in a second. But what I was worried about was that that we were just going to keep going up as the year came in. We went from a good 97,000 to 101,000. We dropped down, and this would have been a great time to actually contribute to the retirement account. And who knows what's going to happen? We can go back down to 80. We can go back down to 70. I don't think it's going to happen, but I've been wrong before, so we'll see where we go. And then of course we bounced around here, 92, and then we hit up. Gosh, 108,000, almost 109,000. And now we're back down to 101,000. So for me to contribute to my retirement account for 2025, because I've already done 2024, I've maxed out. This, I think, is about as good as I'm going to get it. And of course, those will be famous last words. Who knows what will happen next week? So this is just it. And as a reminder, because people will say, well, this market's kind of boring. If you take a look at the last year or so, it's not. It's really fantastic. Do you know that last year, a year ago, Bitcoin, $43,000. $43,000. I know people are still complaining because we haven't hit Bitcoin at 500,000 or 1 million yet, but everything takes time, and hopefully patience will prevail. So this is what I did. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is my retirement account, and this is my allocation. So you might notice that Bitcoin used to be 58%, or excuse me, 47% or so, and now you can see here that it's almost, the allocation is about 58, 59%. Why? It's because it's appreciated. It's done really well. And that's just pretty much how things go as far as like your retirement accounts or anything that you're doing, as far as like investments. So like Bitcoin right here at 59%, not too bad. I've put funds into Ethereum. And then just so everybody knows, I've actually added to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Swede, Doge, Sol. I did not add anything to gold, nothing to ton, nothing to silver. Pepe coin so far has been a loser. Actually, that's not true. It hasn't been that bad. This is the last, I want to say 24-hour time frame of what it's showing here. Negative 9%. Bonk is down 9%. And then I also added a Cardano. Not a lot, but I'm going to tell you why I added Cardano. It's because of the staking aspect. And we'll talk about staking and retirements in a bit. I have WIF, dog with hat, and that has probably been the biggest loser so far. Why? Why did Rob buy meme coins in his retirement account? Is he going to keep them till the age of 59 and a half years old, which is coming up very quickly? And The reason is because I still think that meme coins will outperform a lot of, or some other digital assets. And what I'll be doing with this retirement account, I'm not going to keep WIF or Bonk and Pepe till I'm 59 and a half years old. The idea is just because we're actually here in this bull run, who knows how long it's going to last, who knows how long it'll be, is that I will sell within my retirement account. It is tax exempt because it's in a retirement account, and I'll stick it all in Bitcoin. I have no plans to keep these. As a matter of fact, I'm quite sick of meme coins, quite honestly. Just like when you go to Vegas. If you go to Vegas and you stay there too long, it gets pretty tiresome. Try staying there for 2 weeks straight, see how well you do. But this is all degeneracy. And also Trump. And I actually added Trump in today. I added Trump, the meme coin, today, because I still think that will perform well as the year goes on. And we'll see. And if I'm wrong, well, it's okay, because I've got 60%, 70%, 76, 81, 86, roughly almost 90%, the top 10 cryptos that are out there, or digital assets, except for Sweet. So I think I'll be okay with doing those things. So that is what I've done. That's what I'm going to do moving forward. And there's a couple of different things. If you have a retirement account, I don't know where you're at in the world and what kind of retirement account you have, make sure you're set up for some way to give this to your beneficiaries. Now, iTRUST does this really well, and they have you go through a process online where you go to account options, you click on your manage primary beneficiaries or the contingents, and you put in the person who will actually receive this in the case of your expiration or your passing. And this is important to do because you have everything set up. I mean, you don't want to leave your wife or your husband or your partner or your kids. You want to leave them in the lurch having to like deal with this if you pass away. So on iTRUST, you can do this quite easily. And it's set up right there, and it's all just right. So that is what I've been doing. And also, you can contribute so much per year for your retirement account. What I did here is you have between $7,000 and $8,000 per year, or if you do a backdoor Roth IRA, it's different. What I'll also be doing, because I did a lump sum right now today, I'll also be doing conditional transactions, which will be like when this price hits a certain point, I want iTRUST to buy a certain amount of, say, Ethereum, or say Solana, or say Cardano, say Bitcoin, whatever it is, I'm going to set this up. And then also you can do recurring buys. And when you schedule recurring buys, it's just dollar cost averaging. You do it every month or every week, and you can kind of let that go. Now, those are options you can do, but I'm going to tell you why that's not a good option as far as dollar cost averaging over time. You might be able to do pretty well. It's a safer option, and it's something that I'm going to actually do both of. I did a lump sum. Now I'm going to do a little dollar cost averaging and little conditional orders. But here's the thing about the 4-year cycles and about getting the lowest price that you possibly can for your digital assets. If you take a look over time, first of all, just a little backstory. That's Peter Thiel, part of the PayPal mafia, big, huge investor now, does a lot of different things. And he turned $2,000 into $5 billion. How did he do that? Well, he took his PayPal shares, which were worth pennies on the $1,000, and stuck them into a Roth IRA account. And he did that when PayPal wasn't worth squat. And now, of course, it appreciated so much. Now he's got $5 billion coming to him tax-free, because it's not about how much you put in. It's the valuation that you put in at that time. And PayPal wasn't worth anything. And that's the beauty of a Roth IRA. So if you think Bitcoin could do pretty well, maybe you could look into Roth IRA. Maybe if you think Pepe Coin's going to do well, you're going to ride that into... I'm just kidding. Pepe Coin's not going to be around. I mean, that's just not financial advice, but I mean, come on. So the whole thing with this is timing. And we always want to get the best price and the lowest price, right? We can do dollar cost average like we talked about. But usually, like in these 4-year cycles, I mean, usually this is the year. Now, things could totally change. I have no idea. A lot of things that are looking like this is the same. Actually, let me just show you something real quick. And we show this on NFA Live. This is the return on investment after the Bitcoin halving. And for cycle 432 in the very first halving. This is the cycle right now that we're in. Our halving was on April 20th. It says April 21st, I'm pretty sure, yeah, April 20th, 2024. And the ROI so far for Bitcoin been 1.57. Okay, what about last cycle? This does not match up. It's way, 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 way worse than what it was on the 2021 cycle. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the difference. And people will say, well, the time difference is, a little bit off because the halving for cycle 3 was May, not April. And that's true. So you have to get it like a month ahead. Even if we go a month ahead, it's still way above. And that's 2021. But I will say this, if you take a look at the 2017 cycle, it mostly closely resembles that, where we did it pretty good in the first so many months. But then as we take off into, the real bull run, this is where we're going. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to do a 27x, but if you can take a look at just the valuations or the, overlays, TA people correct me here, it's looking pretty damn similar. So anyhow, if you take a look back in 2024, I messed up last year, and I'm not going to do that again. So when I contributed to my IRA in 2024, the very first week, I could have gotten prices like this. Here is Bitcoin, 43,000 on the 7th of January, 2024. Here's Ethereum, 2,000. Here's BNB, 302. Here's Solana, 89 bucks. Here's XRP, 55 cents. If I would have been smart, I would have lumped sum back then. Now, is this true of every year? No. I mean, if you would have done this in 2022, not too great, because in 2021 we had the blow off top, then 2022 things went down. However, we're in that 4th year cycle, and I still believe that this is going to be a pretty good one for the year. So I contributed around here, where Bitcoin was 61,000. Not great, Rob. You could have had 43,000. So 12th of May, Bitcoin was 61,000, Ethereum was 3,000. 6th of October, actually it wasn't too bad. Look at that. We chopped sideways for like almost the whole year. Not too bad, right? And even like Solana was 146 as opposed to, it was the same price almost. But look at this. This is how volatile the market is. If I would have missed either of these days, I mean, I'm not going to do the greatest here. But if I would have missed this and just waited, I'll get it next month, or maybe, towards the end of the year. This was the price of 1st of December. Look at this. From 62,000 in the 6th of October, 2024 to 97,000, 2024. If I want to maximize my earnings, I don't want to do this. I want to get in as early as I possibly can. And that's essentially what happened here. So the question you might have is, okay, well, why did you get into say Cardano and Solana? It's because of staking, my friends. It's because of straight staking. It was Kraken, which we talked about yesterday. Kraken just started up staking again after they got sued by the SEC. They got sued by the SEC because SEC said, look, you're offering unregistered securities. He said, no, we're not. I said, okay, well, you are, and we're going to take you to court, and you're going to pay us $30 million, and that's pretty much it. So they bent the knee, and they did it, and they got sued again. Now they just came out yesterday and offered staking service for all their clients. This is good news. So I sat down, Kevin Maloney, who's the CEO of iTRUST. And it was a 30-minute sit down. I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm going to release that tomorrow. But I want you to listen to this 3 minutes and 13-second snippet of where he talks about what they're going to do as far as with staking. So without further ado, this is about 3 minutes or so. This is the CEO of iTRUST Capital, what they're going to do with staking. Happens next? What do you guys see happening next with Gary stepping down? And what are the new things coming out? And if you could, maybe just talk real quick about maybe that's that magical S word, staking.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a lot of doors open up. I think floodgates could open up with further participation, not just among the retail masses, but additional participation with from the institutional perspective. We're already seeing, BlackRock and others allocate, a certain percentage of resources to, digital assets, mostly Bitcoin, for example. I'm sure many of your viewers had seen or participated or were present at the remarks made at the Bitcoin conference in Tennessee this last summer in July, where RFK Jr. spoke, Trump spoke the next day. A lot of excitement and a lot of interest. And I don't think it's all hyperbole. I think we will see floodgates open up. I think the SEC becomes more crypto friendly. I think we do get some more clarity, which we need. I think that helps all of us get more comfortable with allocating, whether it's 1%, 3%, or 5% of your total portfolio to digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, whether it's Solana, XRP, or SUI, whatever it is. We're going to see more of that. We personally at iTrust Capital get more comfortable with staking. We're working with our partners to launch a taxable, premier custody account with no limits, unlimited participation in that is taxable. We're looking at products with the registered investment advisors from an institution perspective. So RIAs can log in and add accounts from a taxable or non-taxable perspective for their clients, invite their clients to see it, full transparency. If they have fiduciary duty, they'll make the moves for the clients. The RIAs continue to keep the AUM on their platform. We don't poach clients. We just communicate with them. So there are a myriad of opportunities we're looking at. Staking comes back for us. We think staking, if done correctly with transparency on some of these top 5 assets, we think it's very interesting. We think there's a lot of support and interest around our clients. So
how long would you think it would take to get all this stuff done? The RIAs, the staking, the taxables, non-taxable types of accounts. This is going to be like a multi-year type thing?
We think we will get 1 or 2 of those launched in Q1 for sure.
Oh, okay.
And 1 or 2 at the Q1 this Q1 coming up in 25, not 26. So we're working on launching at least 1 of those in Q1, another one in Q2, and I'm shooting for Q3 for one of the other products or services I mentioned. So
there you go. So again, that was Kevin Maloney. He's CEO of iTrust. So I'll be talking about, actually, we'll probably release the whole video tomorrow and you can make a decision there. So that is it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. I just wanted to give you just a peek about where my brain is at as far as like what I'm going to invest into. But if you've got some questions for me, let's get in a little Q&A. I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, and we will go from there. So let's break into a little Q&A. Let's see, what do we have? I've already started some. Crypto Flyer. Any update on your friend with the compromised ledger? Fortunately, we do not. We know that KuCoin, even though the FBI contacted them after my friend contacted the FBI and said, "Hey, I got hacked and lost all my funds," and they took it from MEXC and COINBASE and my hot wallets and my cold wallet, and they stuck it over in KuCoin and OKX. And with KuCoin, they were notified within 24 hours, and they said, "Don't worry, we're going to freeze that," and they didn't. And he lost everything. Coincidentally, KuCoin just paid $300 million because they got sued by the American government for going against KYC and AML laws. So that's your comeuppance. And $300 million for them, let's be honest, is not anything like huge. It's something, but it's like a slap on the wrist. Let's be honest. Those guys made billions and billions of dollars, I'm pretty sure, but couldn't happen to better people. I can't stand KuCoin because if they're not going to be there for our customers, what are they going to do? Some people will say, well, that's not the ethos of decentralization, Rob, because we should be able to transact and do whatever we want to and not have Big Brother watch over us. Sure. Let me know how you feel when you have your entire life savings stolen from you by a hacker, and if you're going to still be with the ethos. Let's see how that works out. Let's see. Hey, Rob, talk about some DOT, please. Polkadot? And here's the thing, like some of these altcoins haven't moved right now, and that's okay. They have been laggards. The question that I have for Polkadot is I don't really see too much news about what's going on with them. I don't hear about the partnerships. I don't really know how many individuals or companies are actually building on top of Polkadot right now. and making it a powerhouse, or if it is anything going on major. So as far as like Polkadot, I still have some, but I'm not actively adding anything to Polkadot. We'll see if it works out, but the same thing can be said for AVAX. And this another comment from Jets. He says, look, AVAX hasn't done anything. But I mean, if we look at like all the gaming part that's being built on AVAX, especially off the grid, great looking game, beautiful, great storyline, great developers, great engagement across the board. AVAX doesn't move. So, I mean, if we take a look at it though, and take a look at the actual chart itself, I wonder what this would look like. That doesn't look that good. We can see, let me see what this would look like. So I got my rules stuck up there. AVAX. Let's take a look over a year. Oh, it doesn't look that good. Quite honestly, we can just see right here that AVAX itself was at $34 on February 4th, 35 bucks, and today it is $33.70. So yeah, that's just it. Now, some people will say, well, it's building and it's doing great things. It's great. But, me personally, as an investor myself, I like to see it go up a little bit. Maybe not now, maybe a little bit later. We'll see. But it actually has things going on and doesn't seem to be really moving. And let's see. Crypto Hoop says the fees are high. I think, oh yeah, Neoposta says, not trying to get blocked, but I just can't get past the fees for iTRUST. I get it that it replaces the maintenance fees, but 7% per trade is math. That is incorrect. So I just did this today, and the fee is 1%. It is 1% transaction fees, not 7%. I just put in sizable amount of Bitcoin. Didn't cost me too much. And then some people will say, well, why can't I just do that at like an exchange and have like a lower fee of whatever else of 0. Blah, blah, blah. And really it comes down to maintenance and management. I can't put all of my funds into a retirement account. Legally, I just can't do that. It'd be actually pretty cool if I did, because cost effective as far as like taxes go. But since I can't, I can only put so much in there, and I let iTRUST do the thing. Now, iTRUST the fees used to be higher than that, and it used to be $29 per month because they've had so many people sign up and things move forward. Now it's just 1%. So for me, for a 1% transaction fee, and they deal with all the problems that they have to deal with, and as far as like the legalities of making sure that it actually is a Roth IRA, and I don't get I don't get surprised by the IRS by saying, hey, this wasn't actually accredited and this doesn't really actually work. I just want them to make sure they do their due diligence and do their thing, which they're doing. So when I retire and I can take that out, tax-free. That's all I care about. And the next question is, yes, I don't pay any capital gains taxes here in Puerto Rico, but here's the thing. 59 and a half years of age, coming up very quickly. Maybe I'm not living here in Puerto Rico at that point. Maybe something happens to my family. Maybe I got to move back. Maybe I got to go back to the States or back Mexico. I don't know. If in that case, I'd be happy to have a retirement account that has no taxable assets as I start to sell off. And then Jet says, I'm so sick of this stuff. When is bull run really gonna start? This is the same sentiment I heard back in 2021 too. And I remember this, people getting pissed off because it was like January, February, and it wasn't like these huge, massive gains that we had heard about. And we're like, where the hell is it? I mean, Bitcoin was doing pretty good and people were happy about that. But then once it became stagnant and trading sideways for like a week or so, the pitchforks came out. I just got to tell you, Jets, I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that things just keep repeating and repeating until they don't. And if we take a look at some of the altcoins, we've done pretty well. And that's why I diversify. Like, I know some people say, well, I put everything into Avalanche. Sure. If you did that, it's not looking good for you over the past year, right? But if you would have gotten into Bitcoin, like we talk about a lot here, maybe some other different alts, different investments, it turns out okay for you. And then also, it's another thing like to put all your eggs in one basket and say like, okay, I'm just going to wait for this blow off top and then start selling. You may have noticed that I have these nice rules here now. I did a little change. And I want people to remember this last one right here, because it's the most important one, I think. Take the damn profits. off the table, because it seems like people are waiting for like this hockey stick banana zone. If it happens, it happens. What if it doesn't? Would you feel bad if you hit the hockey zone and you had like 20% left and you had sold 80%? Or would you be like, no, 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 it has to be 100% and that's it? This is why along the way, and I get lambasted for it, I've taken profits along the way and I put those into real estate. And because of that, even if I get hacked right now and everything goes away, it's fine, because I'll still be just fine with the other investments that I made into it. And it's just like, I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you that that's the safest option. Trust me, when we do some of these like meetups here and I'm talking about that, people are like, why'd you do that? Why don't you just leave everything in crypto and let it go? Because I'm trying to be safe. It's not just me I have to worry about. I got to worry about my wife, worry about the family, or the kids, make sure that everything's taken care of. That's my job. My job is not to screw up and let everything go. I got to make sure that I have everything in place, because I'm not going to be, that guy who's just like, oh, I round tripped again. They just will not let that happen. I refuse. All right. Bodan says, hit the like button and he'll talk about XRP. First of all, I have a little XRP in my regular portfolio, very little, and I haven't even added any more. I'll be 100% transparent. But I say it again, congratulations to the XRP holders and how long they had to hold on and make it. I just have one question for you guys. It really burns me. It burns in my brain every time I hear about XRP, which is this, and you are welcome to dispute this. Is XRP working with other banks to make a CBDC in other countries? Or has that just been debunked over and over again? I'm not for sure, because every time I hear about XRP, I get a couple of articles that got thrown in my face about a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. If that's the truth, let me know in the comment section. I can't get behind that. And Jets, why do they all keep getting wrecked? Oh. They don't usually get wrecked, right? They just get, like meme coins get wrecked badly. But some of these altcoins have done some massive, massive gains over time. You just got to, look, I did a video. There's a link in the description. It's called the half and half method. When things double in price, you take half of the table. Everybody knows how to do that. It's what's next. You take half off the table when it doubles. When it doubles again, if it's doing pretty good, you take another half to a 3x. And if it doubles again, you take a 2, 3, 4, or 5x, or whatever else you want to do. Or 2, 3, 4, or 5x. If it does that, then you take half again. People say, it doesn't make any sense. That has anything done that? Yeah, look at Ethereum. So if you got into Ethereum early, right, and you didn't do that, you'd be up massively. Okay, got me. But how about the other 10,000 worthless piece of trash tokens that are out there that have gone 2, 5, 10, 20x, and no one does anything with it? If you would have done that with Ethereum when it was a nickel or $1 or whatever it was, you know how much you'd have if you would have invested 1,000? Plenty of money if you would have done the half and half method. So if it is one of those cryptos that has not really been around and battle tested, you got to do the half and half. In my personal opinion, you can do what you want to. Not financial advice, but that's done really well for me. Like I invested into crazy stuff back in my early days, and that was what saved me. My friend Bobby, he got into Trump coin, and he's a degenerate gambler essentially. And one thing he did right was he did the half and half method. As soon as it doubled, sold. When it doubled or tripled again, sold. And now everything went down. He's like, I don't really care. I did my job. Okay. All right. Joby. It's a good name. Oh, hey, Joby's here. Yeah, I'm extremely biased. The vast majority of my portfolio is Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. So I'm very, yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. All right. I don't know. Pearly says, so moving the staked earned coins back to Coinbase account, just report them at zero cost basis. That's a great question for somebody who's like a CPA and knows what the hell they're talking about. As far as like that one, I just defer this to my CPA and say, which rules are we going to go with today? Which ones have we been going through? Is there any updates with the IRS? That's why I have my own personal CPA, which I highly recommend you do. Matter of fact, we're going to have David from CoinLedger on. which is a tax software. They have a whole list, a whole plethora of people that you can contact and get professional advice from CPAs and lawyers. And they have their own little network. So we'll come on, I'll ask that question. Pearly, make sure that when we do that live stream that you're here, ask that question. We'll hopefully we'll probably have both, a CPA and a lawyer, asking people's questions live. We are a softball team, that's right. John says, the worst is being underwater on a token, specifically a project that has potential. That's a good point, especially like the ones that do really well. You know, we just talked yesterday about, it was a Solana-based rideshare sharing economy project that was built on top of Solana. I forgot the name of it, but they did reasonably well. They raised $9 million in 2022. And I think it was one of the conferences in Dubai, where they actually rolled it all out and gave everybody free rides across the way. So if you're used to like Lyft, or say people mostly know Uber, this was the third option. And they just closed their doors yesterday. And they said, yeah, I just didn't make it. So like that one, actually, I misguided on that one, because that one didn't actually have a token. It was just built on Solana. But there's a lot of different great projects that just aren't going to make it. And it's like every other business that's out there, right? The old analogy, the restaurant down the street, fantastic food, great service, reasonably priced. Go back 3 months later, half the people are there. Service is still pretty good. Foods are great. Go back 6 months later, it's empty, it's done, and it's closed down. What happened? Food? Was it management? Was it marketing? Was it embezzlement by the chef? Who knows? It's just sometimes companies just don't make it. Thanks, Joker. That's good. Oh, shoot, that's right. Algo staking is live. Let's do this. If I don't do this now, I don't think I'll do it. So Algorand is actually actively staking, which sounds fantastic. What we got to do, what we need to do. Hey guys, can we get a stake pool up and running for Algorand? Algo Ranch, what the hell? Just send a message to the team that does that helps, or they do everything really. The stake pool for DNews, for the Cardano stake pool. So I'll let you guys know. Yeah, that's it. Teleport. Let's see. Rob, do you also sell your Bitcoin? I have sold Bitcoin in the past. Yeah. And lately I haven't. I want to say I sold a little bit for this apartment complex, but it was a great deal. I mean, this apartment complex is like, it was perfect. It was like close to the beach. It's a gated community. I mean, and it was like severely undervalued. So I sold a decent amount, but not everything. And it wasn't too terrible blowout, because I also had cash. But like I've said before, and I've said this again, if we get this Bitcoin strategic reserve, which I got to tell you is looking good for states, if we get that, then I probably won't sell much at all. The problem is that even if I don't sell it, I won't be able to really use it, because I don't believe in. I know that SOB 121 got rescinded, or was rescinded by the SEC, which means that the banks can custody your Bitcoin, which means you can take loans against your Bitcoin. But I will not do that for a couple of reasons. First, I don't like the loan process, especially if you've been around the Voyagers and the Celsius like I have. Actually, just the Celsius thing. And then BlockFi. That's one. Two is I'm worried about bank rehypothecation. They take in our Bitcoin and then it's saying, hey, thanks for that one Bitcoin. Let me take 0.95% of that and start to lend against that Bitcoin. Then we'll lend against 0.9 and then 0.89, then 0.87. And it'll just be a vast foundry of Bitcoin out there and just rehypothecation. Essentially, that's fractional reserve banking. That's the second thing. And the third thing is that once things go sideways, which they always go sideways, there's always a problem around the bend. If you think that you're going to get, if you loan one Bitcoin and you think that the bank's going to come back and go, here's your 1 Bitcoin back. It's not going to happen. They're going to go into bankruptcy. And let me remind you what happened in FTX and Celsius and Voyager with their bankruptcy. They didn't give you squat back because they only gave you pennies on the dollar. So if you look at those 3 things, I'm not going to be loaning out my Bitcoin to the damn banks so they can do the nastiness that they do. I just don't see the point. So then it becomes, how do you use Bitcoin? That's a great question. And if I figure it out, I'll let you know. With the kind of Dominican Republic. No, Puerto Rico. Best place ever. I will definitely join the algo pool. Thanks, Chris. That's good. Hey, you know what? That's true. I'm actually waiting for Minutes Network. Guess who contacted me last night, as a matter of fact? Let me read this to you. Hold on. God damn it. It's not that one. Wes, Macy, Mickey. Mickey Watkins, the brother of Josh Watkins from Minutes. Mickey's also the founder of World Mobile Token. Hey man, how are you? Nice site. Brand everything is almost ready. Would love to show you, then set a date for you to reveal. Let me know if you're around over the weekend or Monday, so no problem. Hope all is well. Awesome, always around. What's up with your brother Josh? He'll be around too. Great. So with Josh in Minutes, we'll see what's happening, but I think they've got a TG coming up. And then with Mickey Watkins, I'll let everybody know about that because I'm excited about that because that means they're going to start rolling out their nationwide cell phone plans, unlimited talk, text, and data for a reasonable price with free VPN and no SIM swap or swim swap protection. Also be part in that sharing economy and earning World Mobile Token for using that service. I'll let you know how that works out because I'll be the first one to get off of T-Mobile and going right into that one. Not that I hate T-Mobile, it's just a very good idea. Caspa or Casper? Those are 2 of the community. Yeah, me too. But Caspa, I actually own some. The guys over at Sin City Crypto, they're real big on that one. And they've explained it to me, and it just goes over my head. That must be for the smart people. But yeah, probably do well. Who knows? Yeah. Bodan says, Bitcoin Reserve, the government throw there with CBDC. You know, who was it? It was the, not the new head of the SEC that's being talked about, Treasury Secretary of the State. He had talked about how a CBDC is a mistake and we as Americans should never do it. And I was like, I like that guy. So we'll see. There's a big difference. There's a big difference in this administration versus the previous administration. I think this administration, as far as financially, probably going to do a way better job than what we just had with Biden administration. And we'll definitely have it better than what they did with crypto digital assets. And before you tell me, yeah, but under Biden, didn't we get a Bitcoin ETF? Barely we did. And if it wasn't for, gotta hand it to him, Gary Gensler making the tying vote count. He was number 3. It was Ayuda and Hester Pierce. They were for it. And the other 2, Democrats, they were against it. And Gary, Democrat, was for it. And he had to be the tying vote to bring a Bitcoin spot ETF into existence. However, the very next day, he was on Squawk Box, MSNBC, CNBC, talking about how Bitcoin is very dangerous and that you really shouldn't get into it without having all the disclosures. And he's pretty much was like pretty anti-Bitcoin. He just said that he had to do it because it was the legal route to go. Yes, Gary Gensler did do that. And yes, that was barely under the Biden administration, but take a look at all the stuff they didn't do. Take a look at Operation Choke Point 2.0. Take a look at what the SEC did, how much they actually hindered everything. Just take a look at the administration itself and tell me if it was really pro crypto and actually moved things along. We moved things along. They hindered it. That's how I see it now. I could be wrong. Jimmy. Gary says that because he needs to fill his bag. Well, Gary's has a nice fat cush jobs at MIT teaching over there. So good for him. I mean, not good for you if you graduate and you want to, go work for a Gemini. The Winklevoss twins said they will not hire anybody coming out of MIT because Gary Gensler works there. And I'm like, how bitter are you against the SEC to say, I'm not going to hire some up-and-coming person because they got taught by Gensler. That's bad. Democrats voted for more control, crazy. And so I don't think it's a Democrat-Republican thing. It's just that there's just some Democrats that are crazy and there's some Republicans that are crazy. And I think that's really what it comes down. Let's not forget that we're just people and we have crazy, crazy ideas and just some people agree with us. I think we can all get behind that. I just, it's just a funny thing. Like, as you're younger, you're more liberal, you're more on the Democratic side. Then as you get older, he's become more of a conservative, just how it is. I actually heard this from everybody as I was growing up. And I was like, that's crazy. Here we are. Polaris. Hey, I just want to say thank you for all that you do for us. Thanks for watching. Polaris is nice. Your time has been invaluable. Appreciate the time you give us. No problem. Always good times. Especially the Q&A part, probably the most fun. Bitcoin 2.0. Song market cap. It was an hour meeting in London at CoinBureauCon. That was fun times. Is there any chance it might be organized again? Probably, but that's for the Coin Bureau team. They got a lot of things going on. Crypto Flyer. Did they figure out how his ledger was hacked? They did not, that I know of. But it was. We just don't know how the heck it happened. If you guys are unfamiliar with this story, oh really? That's the default? That's the default? Thank you. Let me come over here. It's in docs. I know it's here somewhere. Google, I got to tell you, it's great when it works. Let me refresh this. What we're talking about is a friend of mine. He lost everything in a hack. The hot wallet, I understood, because those get hacked all the time. Look, if you got a hot wallet like MetaMask or Phantom, just kiss that stuff goodbye. It's going to get hacked. It's going to get drained at some point. So, like for me, I just kind of feel like that's like my every average day wallet, which, like some people have wallets and they have like 20 bucks in there. I do. And someone comes to me like, give me your wallet. Here you go. Here's my wallet. Here's my 20 bucks. Thankfully, you didn't get, the $100 that I have in Bitcoin or whatever it is. So like, just don't put everything into your hot storage wallet. But that wasn't my friend's problem. My friend's problem is that he got his ledger hacked. And as he watched his Coinbase and MEXC account go to zero, he saw his ledger account go to zero at the same exact time. How crazy is that? And the questions you're probably having is the questions that I wrote down and asked him. And the questions were like this: is it a Mac, PC, or Linux? It's PC. Did he buy Ledger from Ledger or a third party? It was from Ledger. Did he sign a transaction on a DApp? No, like a deck signing or bidding. So I don't do that. Did he stake any crypto in his Ledger? Yes. It was Solana though. Did he save the mnemonic phrase in the cloud? No, only on paper. Was his home broken into? No evidence of a break-in. Did he click on any corrupted emails? Not that he can remember. Was this a SIM swap? And it wasn't the SIM swap, but they did get access through his Google Authenticator. And if you don't know how that happens, follow me on X and I explain exactly how crazy and easy that actually is to get access to your Google two-factor authenticator. Those codes, there's backup codes in the cloud on your account. Did you know that? Did you know that your Google Authenticator has backup codes just out there for people to take? Yeah, and it's right now. I really need to do another video on that. Was he using Ledger Recovery? No, he was not. And I talk about best practices, and like, that was it. And the FBI has the computer, and I think yeah, they have the computer, which has his Ledger Live, so they're trying to figure out how that happened. No report yet. So, nobody knows. All right. Yeah, Too Big Pause says, nobody got their ledger hacked. He gave away security. Sure. I agree. Ledger is a closed source project, never trusted closed source. Look, me personally, I don't think that Ledger was hacked either. Because if the Ledger was hacked, but it is a funny thing. I've heard other people talk about this on just random posts. But then I started to think about them like, how long have you had it and who's got access to it? There's just so many variables. That's why like me personally, I'm not a big fan of mnemonic phrases and paperwork and jotting them down because it's just so anybody can come in and grab that. They know what they're looking for, right? Or people that you think you can trust, you can't trust. That's why I personally like TANGEM. And I thought, me personally, I wasn't too big on the whole because TANGEM, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it looks like this. Let me see. It's this thing, right? Damn it. Get the comment out of the way. That's a good question, though. TANGEM is just, it's a card. It's like a debit or credit card. And your private keys are contained within the card itself. So when people say not your keys, not your crypto, you can physically have the private keys in your hand. And they put into 3 cards. So you don't need a mnemonic phrase. Well, let's say you lose a card, what happens? Well, you got 2. Let's say you lost the second card, what happens? Well, you got 1 more. And let's say you lost a third, what happens? First of all, why are you losing so many cards? What's wrong with you? You got an issue? But the thing is, if you lose those 2 cards and you got 1 left, you transfer everything over and get another set of cards and figure out why you're losing so many damn cards. And then you do that and all your private keys are there. That, me personally, is the best way because no one can just stumble across and say, oh, there's first of all, if they have your card and they steal your card, guess what? They still can't take your funds because they need your app and they need your Face ID, your biometrics to get in, or they need the password for the app plus the card. Now, if somebody comes in and is like, hey, I know who you are, Dan, which they'll probably call me. Give me your ledger, give me your phone, and give me all your funds. Here's a gun in your face. That situation, pretty much screwed. Thankfully, though, I've just applied for a concealed carry for a firearm. So maybe that someone tries to do that, I just do what I do best. Anyhow, yeah, that's why I personally prefer TANGEM cards. That's it. Yeah, Mandatory says, didn't TAM just recently have a security glitch where they were logging people's private keys? Yeah, this is what happened. So when they did this whole reverse engineering, we're like, okay, we're going to get away from we're going to keep the 3 cards, we're going to give everybody a mnemonic phrase. And what would happen was, and this affected less than 1% of people, if you set this up and had a mnemonic phrase, if you contacted within the app, the specific app, and used I think it was a chat option to talk to customer service to ask them a question within 7 days. After 7 days, didn't matter. Then your mnemonic phrases were exposed. And this again happened to less than 1%. Once they found it out, they notified these less than 1% people. There was a glitch, apologized, fixed it. Nobody got hacked, and they fixed the whole thing, which again is why I'm not a big fan of mnemonic phrases, having them exposed. Just keep my card, good to go. Can the government freeze crypto assets in TANGEM? So, no. There's actually an article that TANGEM wrote about what would happen with governments, and it also wrote an article about what would happen if TANGEM got something like the business itself just exploded and got wiped off the planet by aliens. It was a pretty funny article, actually. And we actually talk about that in the video. So there's a link in the description of all my videos where I talk about TANGEM, why I prefer it, how it works, how to set it up. And again, if you've ever used a debit card and used a, is it NEC or NFC? I always forget, where you tap the card on the payment device and it just says, okay, you're paid. If you can do that, that's essentially what TANGEM is. It's super simple. Yeah, TANGEM Wallet's great. Keith comments, you know your 12 words. For me, it's 25 words on my ledger. Because it's 24 words plus a seed phrase. The last is kind of important to do. Here is my seed phrase. The best toasters are French toasters. That'd be funny. Actually, I had a really good advice from Wes over at Smart Money Tracking. What he does is, because he's afraid of fires, which is for a good reason, he wrote down his mnemonic phrase, 21 words. He stuck those 21 words into a bank security deposit box, and he just remembered the last 3. He goes, I can remember 3 words. It's not that tough. And that way it goes, if somebody gets my words, 21, he goes, they could try to brute force attack it, but it would take a lot of resources just for those last 3. He says, good luck. And that's it. And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. And he also said, let's say the government for some reason raids my account. Not that he's got anything to hide, but he said, if that happens, they only get 21 words. Shrooms. This is a very dangerous statement. Ledger is a French company. France has anti-crypto regulations. I think France has ordered Ledger to have a backdoor. Wow. That's a good guess. But you know what they say. What is it? Unbelievable claims require unbelievable proof or incredible proof. They don't have a backdoor, but they approve all transactions. Let's hope not. Oh. Again, that's just hearsay. That's just us in the chats talking amongst ourselves, talking nonsense. And Jupiter Motors says, until you have a stroke. Yeah, that's true. Could happen. See, there's different problems with everything that you do, right? So when he was saying that he remembers the 3 words, I thought to myself, why don't you just split it? Why don't you just put 12 into the box and give 12 to your wife, or give 12 to your parents, or give the other 12 words or 6 words to a friend and 6 words to a friend. But then I thought to myself, what if your wife starts to hate your guts and she's like, no, I threw that stuff away, sorry. Or you go to your parents' house and like, oh, I lost it. Or you give it to 6 words to a friend and 6 words to another friend, and you and your other friend have a falling out, or something happens and that friend's house burns down. There's always something that can happen. That's just what it is. That's why I only trust me. So I just keep those cards, and they're scattered about. So good luck. Good luck getting them. Yeah, you can do mnemonic phrases. I turn mine into a riddle. One becomes blank and blank becomes, yeah. I almost had a stroke. Yeah, mandatory is right. Use multiple wallets. Don't keep all eggs in one basket. I need to do this best practices video about how to keep everything safe. Because it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We need to really do that. And one of those is doing multiple cold storage devices. I've got 4, 5, something like that. And you can't keep them all in one basket. It's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, Billy, thank you. Daniel says, I called November. Now I'm calling March. Trends support it. Daniel, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about big dumps? Yeah. 2 years ago, Ledger updated their software to keep keys in 2 separate locations. Yeah. Wasn't that the Ledger support where there was actually 3, and they would keep it in different locations, and you could actually get the backup and pay for the service. Some people like that idea. Some people despised it, but I thought it wasn't a bad idea, actually. But people don't trust, so. Rusty bot. It's not a bad idea. Put your seed phrase metal card outside under our roof tile. It's pretty good. Even under a police raid, they won't find it. Pretty easy just to say, I don't know where it happened to it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. January 28, 2025, the United States, the USPTO granted TANGEM a patent for its private key backup technology, patent titled Systems and Methods for Transfers. Yeah, I mean, they have that. And today there's been no hacks, so I'm pretty happy. Shroom says, Ledger has your keys. They can turn those in when asked by the government. I don't know if that's true. I don't think that's true. But wouldn't that be? If that was really, really... Well, I know that there is... we got to get out of here. Even I'm starting to think about this as actual legitimate. All right, everybody. So look, that's it for today. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, all that good stuff. Go enjoy the weekend. Not really much to do except watch the crypto market fall down. That's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.